Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we have another Journey into Real Estate interview, this time with our awesome teammate, Ali Rabin, who has a very interesting background and lots of interesting experiences since getting into real estate. So she's going to tell us all about that and give us the long story. So how's it going, Ali?
Good, Dylan. Thanks so much for having me. I'm psyched to be here today.
Right on, right on. So yeah, let's start from the beginning. Like where did it all start? Where were you born and raised? What was early life
Right.
like before you came to Hawaii?
All right. Well, I'll try not to make it too long. I'm now in Hawaii on the Big Island. So happy to be here. But I'm originally from the East Coast of the United States. So Northeast, New Hampshire, and lived in Florida for many years, went to college in Boston, and eventually made my way out to Hawaii just to check it out on a vacation to see a friend that was living here. And I moved back 3 weeks later. Just could not get it out of my mind. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what I was expecting, like the Caribbean or something, but my mind was blown when I got here and it just really touched me. So I moved back 3 weeks later thinking, I'm just going to do the Hawaii thing for 6 months, get it out of my system, and then move on and start my real career, maybe in Los Angeles.
What was it? I mean, can you describe what that thing was that hooked you, that drew you?
What a great question.
Because we hear this, right? We hear this all the
Yeah.
time from people that, our clients that move here. My mom is another example, just like you, came from the East Coast, came here and then never left. Just some people belong here, right? But what is it? Can you describe? Can you put that to words?
Some people belong here. It's true. And the island will spit you out too. If it's not for you, you hear that a lot too. Like it either works or it doesn't. But I think that the raw, oopsie. Are we still there?
Yep, you're going.
Okay, sorry. The raw, like awe-inspiring beauty of this island, how raw and diverse it is everywhere. All of the different areas and how hard it is, the payoff on the Big Island, how hard it is to get to the beauty. You have to work hard to get to the beauty. But once you do, it will blow your mind. And I think I just loved that, that it's not just flat, gorgeous, easy beaches. I mean, there is some of that, but I loved that you really had to work a little bit for it. And
I've never heard it described that way before. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
But it's
I
true.
definitely think of it that way. You get your 4-wheel drive, and when you can really dive in and do some of that adventuring, the payoff is so huge, especially on the side.
You have different levels, right? You have like maybe the 30-minute walk, then you have the 1-hour truck ride, then you have the 2-hour boat ride if you really want to go remote, right?
Exactly. It depends on what you want to put into it. But just like life, what you put into it here, your payoff can be so huge. I love that about this place. So just the immediate beauty, the aloha spirit, it's so real. The people here, the culture here, it's second to none. I mean, just beautiful people. And I also met my husband the first time I was here, Dylan, and I never really admit that he had anything to do with it. But it's 16 years later and I'm married with 2 kids. So that probably had a little bit of something to do with it as well.
So that was on the very first trip before the 6 months when you came back.
Trip on the soccer field. Yep.
Okay. Yep. And have you been together ever since, or was there a courtship when you came back, or what is that?
I love that this is where this interview is going. When I moved here, I actually brought a friend, and like I said, we were going to do it for 6 months. There was a courtship. It was about a year, almost a year of a really intense friendship.
Okay.
And awesome. I was ready, but I think he kind of knew. I wasn't the type of person to just have a good time with. It was like, okay, that once I hang out with this person, this is going to be it. So it took us a little while, but here we are. I wasn't
feeling. Yeah, we never do, right? It never works out the way you think it's going to.
You never do. Yeah. It's amazing.
So what did you do when you first got here?
So when I first got here, I had a degree in broadcast journalism. I wanted to be, who knows what, work in a newsroom, produce, talk shows, whatever. That's kind of what writing for TV was kind of what my background was. And I
Not a lot of industry for that here, though, right?
no, not at all. And I was working in the newspaper because that's how long it was that I've been here. I actually went to the hard copy newspaper and was reading for job opportunities. And I saw that there was a company here that was producing fishing shows and they needed a personal assistant. And I was like, well, I don't need to be a personal assistant, but I need to find out what the heck is going on here because I need to get my foot in the door. So I just sent them my full resume and I went in for an interview and I walked out with a job as a producer heading to the Caribbean that weekend to help produce fishing shows for ESPN too. So I did that for a long time here.
So they were recruiting here, but they were doing the shows somewhere else?
Yeah, so the production company was based here. So all of the editing, the producing, putting the show together, everything was done here.
Okay.
But yeah, but most of it was a tour. So it was a tournament tour, and a lot of the fishing was done in the Caribbean because there's so much amazing big game fishing there, and it's cheaper. And they were getting teams from all over the country. So yeah, that was fun. And I did that for years where I was gone a couple weeks every month.
Okay.
The Caribbean, yeah, producing.
And so why'd that come to an end?
Well, so that led me to like a nannying job that I was doing all around the world. And then I guess what happened was I got pregnant and I said, I can't have this type of a crazy job.
That changes things. Yeah.
That changes everything. And I was like, I'm going to have to find something where I'm actually here and not traveling all the time. As much as I do miss it and I would love to still, have a foot in that, it is not the type of job that I wanted to do while I had children. I really just wanted to sit down more and be available all the time, especially in the early years. So I thought of real estate. And on this island, there's not a ton of job opportunity in, the industry that I was telling you about. There's certain things, people joke, like you could be a real estate agent, you could be a massage therapist, you could be a teacher.
Yeah, construction worker. Yeah.
Yeah. And we all know that it takes a lot more work in all of those industries than just getting your license. But I did. I got my license and I started working for a very small real estate broker.
You had a family connection, right?
I did.
So there was some influence there.
There was some influence. Yes. My father-in-law had a brokerage and Tiny. That just seems so easy.
He's just a pillar. He's a pillar of the real estate community here in Kona. He's been around almost longer than anybody. And yeah, just a revered member of the community here.
Yep. And he taught me everything. Brick and mortar, gave me my chops and taught me what I know. And I'm super grateful. And it was easy because I was able to, in the early years, have 2 babies and basically take them with me, do as little or as much as I wanted to with not a ton of pressure because it was my family. So yeah.
That's a good environment, I think, to start in, right? Where you don't have that high pressure. Like you got to do sales and meet a quota and attend meetings and all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely a good place to start.
And on the flip side, I mean, when you have those things, that's sometimes the fire under your ass that you need to actually be successful. So there's 2 sides of the coin with that, I think. When people expect certain things of you, then you will perform more often. Yeah, I think
so taking a step back, I always ask about the process to actually get licensed because that's a different process for everybody. So when you make the decision, okay, I'm going to pursue real estate, did you sign up for online class or in-person class? What was that process like?
It was in person. I signed up in person and it was the Excelled course. It was the 1-week course. And it was incredibly intense. I was early pregnant and very nauseous and like hiding snacks in the back of the room. But it was, and I didn't know a ton about it. I had never purchased property at that point. And so I really didn't know much, but I was a good student. So I just used what I knew to study and it worked out. I passed and did it.
Did you pass on your first try?
I did, Dylan. Yeah.
One of the few. You are in the minority.
Really? Yes. Amazing. I did. Yep. And yeah, it was easy. I had a brokerage to go to right away. So I was able to hang my license with my father-in-law and get started. But it was slow because from there, it's like I had a baby. And then I did it so part-time for very many years.
Yeah.
Just, kept my license alive. And um,
And how many years are we talking about?
that I did it part-time like that.
Yeah.
Mm, 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was right for where you were at in life, right? Kids were little, you needed to be available, like it was totally the right thing at the right time.
100%. And I feel so lucky too, because even still, I'm a real estate agent. I'm a mom of 2, and still my number one priority is my kids. It
Mhm.
just is. And everybody has a different style of parenting. Mine might be to a default. Like I want to be involved. It's really important to me to be super involved with my kids and what they do in their education. So my husband has a business. He has a tree trimming business. And so I'm really lucky that even today it's supplemental income for my family. And it's absolutely perfect that way. And it's been a great year for me this year. I'm really proud of where I am. But to have children and somebody else who has another business or other income coming in, it's really worked out for my family. And I just feel really grateful.
Yeah, and that's a great point that, sometimes, and that's a really cool thing about this industry is you really make of it what you want, where, you can definitely do a crazy amount of business and, income, sky is the limit, but maybe if that's not the goal, right? The goal is just a little bit of supplemental income, not too much pressure, and focus on other things. So it's worked
Yeah.
out perfectly for you.
Right. And eventually I do want that to be the goal. And sometimes it just happens when we're not even expecting it. We're working more and doing more
Yep.
deals, and you got to
Well,
get it
this
while
this
it's getting good.
this year has been like that for you.
Yes, it has. It
So
sure has.
we'll get to that. So you do like the real part-time thing for 5 or 6 years, and then, I remember on the soccer field or outside the soccer field, funny, all the
Yeah.
stuff that happens for you on the soccer field.
I
But
know. I don't
us
even play,
having
Dylan.
us having a brief conversation about, what you were doing. I think I had maybe just come to EXP at the time, and yeah, so we talked about it, and, my style, like I'm not a recruiter, I'm not gonna, bother you, but we had a brief conversation, and then I don't know, maybe a year goes by or something, right?
At
And then
least. Planted the seed though. Yeah. You planted the seed, and it was 2020 actually that I realized, okay, I'm ready to make a change. Like I think so many of us were. We didn't know what was coming. Um, something so huge was coming for all of us. But it
yeah,
was really a time of just rebirth. And my kids were a little bit older, and I had been working in this really small brokerage, which was everything that I needed up until that point. But I really wanted to go get some more experience working with other agents and other people my age and from all walks of life, and get a team experience. And so I reached out to you and basically was like, hey, would you consider taking me? And you're like, come on, Allie, let's do it. So that really changed things for me. And EXP opened up a lot for me, and the way you guys run the brokerage and just the way our team does things was very different from what I had experienced, and was really exciting for me.
the culture, right? I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing that's different. I think when you've been around, you've been around, probably as long. When were you first licensed? Probably around the same time I was, I'm thinking, or maybe even
Yeah.
before.
Maybe I was, let's see, 8 years ago, Dylan, 8 or 9.
Okay, so longer, yeah, longer than me.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
mean, you're one of the more senior agents in terms of licensing time, on the team. And a lot of people don't have that perspective of, like, the industry from a longer view, if this is the only thing you've ever known, right? So it's
Right.
definitely a good perspective to have.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, just seeing the changes in the industry, and then just the changes of the way I had learned things. And like I said, very brick and mortar. And I'm so grateful for the way, because I can.
It's even easier now, right? You never have to leave your house because everything's in the cloud and you can do everything digitally, and like really you don't have to ever print anything out. I mean, there's so many different aspects to it.
There are so many different aspects. It is so convenient. It is so easy. It is so mind blowing to me. It's a joy every time. I mean, when I think about it, I light up. People ask me about, okay, what is it like how do you like working for EXP? How do you like your team? And so I get so much light behind my eyes when I start talking about it. And it's sheer joy that it's so easy to sell because I'm truly speaking from my heart and just blown away. And I have something to compare it to. So it's really been a wonderful experience, and the tools that we have at our fingertips are incredible. If you can click a button and do a little bit of research, what you guys have done for the team is so amazing. You can find anything you need right on your computer. So I just love that. You don't have to ask questions or feel like you're bothering somebody. It's all right there, and it's just been an amazing experience. I love that.
And so that's led to back to like this last year. I think you are about to cap if you haven't capped already. But is this your best year ever? Or are you on track to have your best year ever? What does that look like for you?
I would say I'm on track to have my best year ever. I closed one today, so we'll see if that.
That's going to be your cap transaction right there.
We'll see. So yeah, that's really exciting for me.
And for those watching that aren't familiar, when you hit a certain number of sales and the company collects a certain amount of their split, you go to 100% and you spend the rest of your calendar year at 100%. So from an agent compensation standpoint, I mean, no better deal. I mean, that doesn't exist in most brokerages, and it's a lot lower than if there are other brokers that have caps. It's a lot lower. So and it's a big accomplishment, like not everybody gets there. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. And yeah,
in addition, you get another stock award. So
yes.
you build your ownership in the company, for the long run. And that's one of the big things too, is that especially those of us that have kids, I mean, let's say exit strategy and, building generational wealth, something that we can pass on to our kids is huge. And normally in the real estate industry, you don't get ownership in the company, right? You're just an independent contractor that works for a brokerage. So
right.
Cool.
Right. It's a no-brainer. I mean, seriously, it's so many benefits. There's so many benefits, and just the freedom, even just working in real estate. Like I said, as a mom, you can get out of it, whatever you put into it and whatever you're looking for, you can make it a reality. So as long as you put in the time.
In the right environment, right? And that's one thing that's important, I think, to consider. If you are that mom that is looking for what Ali's talking about, is I always joke that we have the mom squad, because Ali, you're one of many, right? I mean, the part-time, the 3/4 time real estate agent, but primarily want to focus on the kids, and I 100% support that, right? I mean, there's everything that we do is geared towards making that a possibility and helping you be as successful as possible based on how much success you want, right? And there's no pressure to do more if you don't. So.
I mean, Dylan, you support everything. So thank you. I really feel that way. I mean, I love that we can come to you. You're an incredibly supportive broker in charge. So just having that and being able to pick up the phone anytime and having the resources at our fingertips and feeling supported in your job, what more is there? I mean, that alone is worth so much. So thank you for that.
Leadership is service, right? I mean, to me, that's always been the most important part of it. So, all right. So if there's somebody listening that's, kind of in your position or thinking about getting involved or maybe making a change, what kind of advice would you have for them?
Make the jump, make the leap. Don't be scared. Sink or swim. But this brokerage is here to catch you with a net and all kinds of resources. Reach out to me anytime. I would love to help. I love to serve as well, Dylan. So it brings me joy to help others and help agents. And I've really loved that part. I haven't gotten to do that at my last brokerage. So I love being able to work with newer agents too. My advice.
And you've brought great people into the company.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, the right spirit and the right attitude, and you've done a great job supporting them too, which is super important. Is you have that, you're passing it on, right? That's a super important thing. Is everybody says, oh, we get so much help and support, but I always tell people to pay it forward, right? Pass it on. Don't forget about it.
Pass it on for sure, and that's what makes us feel really good at the end of the day. Pay it forward. That's exactly right. So
How can somebody get a hold of you if they want to talk story and have another conversation?
you want me to give my cell phone number on here, Dylan? They can they can
You know what? I'll put your email in the description. How about that?
email me, and then I'll be like, hey, give me a call. No, anybody can call or email me anytime with questions.
Yep. And you can
I
find
would
her,
love
Google
to.
her. Google her.
Yeah, for sure. Allie Rabin.
All right, any
Go
closing thoughts?
closing thoughts. I think we covered a lot. I think that there's just so much opportunity to tailor your career to what it is that you're looking for. And obviously, hard work and service has a lot to do with that. But EXP is the way to go. And I'm not like a cheesy person, you guys. It's like
Yes, you know, Allie,
constantly
she's not a cheerleader. Yeah.
and look at, I'm even wearing my EXP today. Have you ever seen that?
No, we're matching. We're matching. Yeah.
We're matching. Make the leap and make the jump and always have faith. There's an amazing team to support you. So good luck, everybody out there. Dylan, it was really fun. Thanks for the interview.
I love it. That was a great way to end it. And I know there's some issues with my video, but we made it through. So
Yeah.
thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day, and
Got it.
we'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks.
Right on.